Hello, Jackie Simonette.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for participating in this and helping our students learn more about the way Gen Xers might interview. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a nurse. I have spent the last 16 years working with people of all different backgrounds and from different generations. I think there's 5 generations in the workforce. And I was exposed and worked with all of them in my nursing career and even now in my administrative role. And I've done a lot of hiring and interviewing. And yes, I am a proud Gen Xer.
What tips might you suggest for making a great first impression when someone's coming in for a job interview?
Bring your notes. I'm ready. I came prepared. It's better to be over prepared, I think, than have a curveball come at you. You're going to be nervous anyway, so doing your homework, doing your research on the company you're applying to, even doing a little research on the person who's interviewing you. Call it what you will, but I call it research. It'll make you more comfortable if you know a little bit about that person.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say teeth to toes, literally fresh breath, fresh hair, fresh everything. No fragrances. You don't want to offend anyone with any kind of strong fragrance or presence. You keep everything muted and stick with your grays and blacks or neutral colors. Be spiritually prepared. Work through in your mind what you value, what makes you tick. You might have to give examples of that. So working through some of those answers ahead of time would be a good way to prepare. And then smile. Like literally as you're driving to the interview, force yourself to grin, to have a big cheese on. Because it'll trigger that muscle memory and you'll literally go into that interview with a positive attitude.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
Are there subjects there or things that I should avoid as I'm interviewing with that famous Gen Xer?
I would prefer no canned answers. If you tell me, if I ask you, why should I hire you for this position? And your responses are, I'm a hard worker, I'm a team player, I'm a people person. It's boring. I'm not going to be able to understand you, and I'm really not going to get a sense of whether you would be a good fit based on those answers. So I would encourage a little more creativity. Give examples of that. Those are great attributes, but give specific examples.
So telling some stories along those lines?
Yeah, of how you're a hard worker and how you work with a team. Literally specific examples go a long way. You have to be concise, which I'm not very good at. I like to talk. And think of your strengths and weaknesses. I wouldn't mention a weakness unless you can spin it around to be a strength. Sometimes you could say, well, I'm really detail oriented, and sometimes that can get me off track. But that sounds kind of like a backhanded strength, if that makes sense.
It sure does. Are there specific things I should focus
on? Focus on the job description. Know it backwards and forwards. Be able to really speak to all those bullet points that you see in a job description, and you're going to want to be prepared to ask the interviewer to expand on those, because sometimes they can be kind of generic, but that's really important to focus on the job description, the skills, and how you can do the job, how you're going to do the job.
Makes a lot of sense. Is there anything I should not ask you?
Oh gosh, yeah, there's many things you wouldn't want to ask, but I think if you can avoid assuming that you know or understand or can relate to the person just based on their age or their generation. I think that's an area you would want to try to avoid. And avoid asking about time off, pay raises, PTO, vacation. I know that might be important to people. Sure it is to anyone, but I would avoid asking those questions.
Those kind of answers will come up when the offer's made.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do you have any best advice as we're starting to wrap up here?
Gosh, best advice.
Or words of wisdom?
Okay, here's my joke. A baby boomer, a Gen Xer, and a millennial all walk into a bar. Which one of them is most likely to be there despite the fact that their boss asked them to stay over and work overtime? I think the punchline is that they're all going to be there. Nobody wants to work overtime and work more than what's required. So we're a lot more alike than I think we admit. We all like to have our tribes and the places where we fit in, but I think we're all a lot more alike as far as the workforce.
Jackie, thank you so much for your
you,
time.
my pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your experiences with our students, with our graduates, and with ECPI University.
My pleasure. Thank you too.